Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the main news on Camnet TV. Here are the top stories making headlines in our news tonight. Traders displaced by UPND cadres in LUSAKA demand government's intervention. State to compensate slain UPND supporter MAPENZI CHIBULO'S family 3.5 million KWACHA. Government still consulting legal experts on prosecuting former President EDGAR LUNGU. In international news, ICC concludes investigation into deadly post-election violence in Kenya. And in sports news, Copper Queens ready to face Angola in the WAFCON qualifier match next month. My name is Sylvia Zulu. Do join me with the details after this.
Introducing Darren B, a touch of class. Are you looking for the perfect place to elevate your style and glam up? Look no further. Darren B Touch of Class is your one-stop destination for hair and makeup transformation. Walk into Darren B and walk out feeling like a star. Your transformation starts here. Call us on 0772 870 588 or WhatsApp on 0972 049 213 to book your appointment today. Point of sale machine. Strictly no cash payments. We are located along Mossy Road in Ibex Hill, fourth close on the left after Kalikiliki Police Post. At Darren B, we pride ourselves on our team of dedicated and trained personnel ready to pamper both women and children. Darren B is open 7 days a week from 0720 hours to 1740 hours. From trendy hairstyles and stylish makeovers to flawless makeup, we do it all. Darren B, a touch of class.
Thank you so much for staying with us. And now the news in detail. Some traders at LUSAKA's KWACHA livestock market have appealed to government to address the growing hooliganism of suspected United Party for National Development UPND cadres intimidating traders. The traders, who claim to have been chased from KWACHA market on allegations of having supported the previous administration, say life has become unbearable since suspected cadres took over the market, leaving them stranded. One of the affected traders, Delisen Muziamba, has called on the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Gary Kombo, to tour the facility and get first-hand information on what is obtaining on the ground. The leadership wrangle between the current and former leadership at KWACHA Market is since being contested in court.
Some livestock traders at LUSAKA's KWACHA Market in Kanyama constituents have complained of being ejected from the market due to accusations of belonging to the Patriotic Front PF party. The aggrieved trader says the new leadership at the Small Livestock Traders Association of Zambia SLAS, which took over after the 2021 general elections, is slowly injecting members from the facility, leaving them in destitution.
Each and the time, basically, mundu wa pisha maybe you don't know akumwa mkwala maybe adwala TB wampisha nda kunyumba komboni anda kufa kuja but pa market veve asedi ba chikonke chotamza to tipisha kwaenda u azando survival rwanda vambiri ndipa kulisira ma family pa ma families yatu pa south and ma families ambeno pisha muntu umoze ndo ali 10 wali 20 basunga ma families kunyumba so yo ndenda ndalo yanga na eve
abantu sibafunokiri na pa market futhi muntu akakamba ko cheka ngono baze abantu bachashani bamupisha market abantu baza survive bwanji ndafa abantu bafuna ko survive muti mu market ndeva ninga kambi.
Another affected trader has appealed to Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Gary Kombo to visit the market for a fact-finding mission, as the new leadership is failing to run the affairs of the market despite collecting levy.
Kuti itianga neko kuti baobwere pa ground baone kuti vaine vichitika ni vichani tipempa ku government by this time around abantu kuiba na vene vachita pa market bankara chabe kwambotenga ndrama za association na kwa mezi enda ndrama isestiziva then second ise tenzo lipira before banatupisha mu market muja tenzo lipira ma 30 kwacha every day zia ndrama 40 sizwa kwa benzo peleka na malisiti tilinayo.
Meanwhile, Halimanga Nkumbula Ward 12 Councillor Aaron Mwanza says he's not aware of the traders who have been chased from the market.
Not aware, but the only thing that I'm aware of that there was what a problem with leadership there. So I'd gone there yesterday of which I gave them what accounts that that is an association, and they should take politics away from that place, because it's a business place. If they take politics there, means that there be no, it won't be a conducive environment to do business for people, because that area benefits a lot of people. Farmers will come from very far, you come and do what business there. So if whatever, if it affiliates to UPND, whatever, PF, whatever, when they go there, they should go as members of an association, which is a small livestock workers association, not as the CADRES. So for that, I talked about it, and I'm hoping for change, unlike what used to happen before.
Government on several occasions has warned against acts of illegalities in the name of CADRESism, but resistance continues to be witnessed. The leadership for the market is since been contested in the courts of law between the former and current leadership. For Camnet TV News, Afias Kaptula, Lusaka.
Mpika Member of Parliament Robert Kapyanga has called on the Ministry of Justice to stop the looting of national resources in form of compensations being given to UPND cadres through consent judgments. Mr. Kapyanga says government should not be selective in compensation, adding that most people in rural areas have been killed and their families have not been compensated. Meanwhile, governance activist Bredna Changala says compensating a minister huge sums of money is unfair to suffering Zambians, especially that it comes weeks after treason accused UPND members were compensated 6 million kwacha each. Here's a report.
The recent compensations being made through consent judgments granted by the Attorney General's chambers have been described as daylight robbery and a plunder of national resources. Transport and Logistics Minister Frank Tayali is among the latest to be compensated a 450,000 kwacha for the trauma he suffered after being pointed a gun back in 2020. Not too long ago, 5 United Party for National Development UPND members arrested for treason charges with President Hakainde Hichilema, who was then in opposition, were compensated 32 million kwacha, translating to 6.4 million kwacha each. This has raised eyebrows among governance actors and the general public. Mpika Member of Parliament Robert Kapyanga has called on the Minister of Justice to stop the looting of national resources being given to UPND cadres and leaders as compensation through consent judgment.
I want to appeal to the Ministry of Justice. The issue of consent judgments on unlawful prosecution or whatever they call it should not be selective. We have people in Mpika who have been wrongly prosecuted, but no one to compensate them. We have people who have been killed by wild animals in Inabwaria, in Chishala, and even in Itejteje. They have never been compensated. But we have consent judgments that have now become a conduit for looting. People are being given colossal sums of public money under consent judgments.
Governance activist Bredna Changala says compensating a minister such huge sums of money is unfair to suffering Zambians, especially that it comes weeks after the treason accused UPND members were compensated over 6 million kwacha each.
Now, these compensations, which are engineered by the UPND and canonized by the Attorney General to rob the people of Zambia, will not be entertained. There will come a day when people have to pay back. UPND are not the only people who suffered under the MMD and the Patriotic Front to enjoy these colossal sums of compensations.
And Movement for Promoting National Values and Principles CEO Joseph Kunda says the compensations confirm that government has a lot of money and is demanding for the full restoration of subsidies on fuel, mealie meal, agriculture inputs and all essential commodities.
We can't imagine a person like Honorable Frank Tayali with a lot of money, a person who is a minister, a person who is not in need, a person who is not vulnerable, to take advantage of such a situation and capitalize on that case, amassing such monies to himself, leaving so many people impoverished in our country. We can't afford to have such a situation.
Just be pointed by a gun. How many people in Zambia have been pointed by a gun? How much have you given them?
As council, we're taking our police.
Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
The Attorney General has agreed to compensate the family of late United Party for National Development UPND supporter MAPENZI Chibulo a sum of 3.5 million kwacha, according to a consent judgment which is not yet signed by the judge. The government has agreed to pay the family the said amount as damages for loss of life and also pay 500,000 kwacha as legal cost. In this matter, Douglas Chibulo has sued the Attorney General over the death of his daughter, claiming damages for loss of life due to what he termed negligence by police. Ms. Chibulo was shot dead by the police in 2016 after cancellation of a UPND's party rally in Chawama Township.
After waiting for almost 7 years, the government has finally agreed to compensate the family of late UPND supporter MAPENZI Chibulo, who was shot dead by the police in 2016. According to a consent judgment which is not yet signed by the judge, the government has agreed to pay the family 3.5 million kwacha as damages for loss of life and also pay 500,000 kwacha as legal cost. In 2017, Douglas Chibulo dragged the state to the LUSAKA High Court over the death of his daughter, claiming damages for loss of life due to what he termed negligence by police. He sued in his capacity as administrator of the estate of MAPENZI Chibulo, the deceased. The state says the above monies shall be full and final settlement of all the claims in the case. The deceased, MAPENZI Chibulo, a UPND supporter, was shot dead during a protest when the party in opposition then was refused to hold a rally in Chawama compound in July 2016. In a statement of claim, Mr. Chibulo stated that the police carelessly, in their effort to disperse people who were peacefully parading in a march past, used live ammunition to shoot at an armed citizen. He had further argued that his daughter was murdered in cold blood after sustaining a bullet injury in her skull, adding that MAPENZI's death was caused by gross negligence of police officers as they used live ammunition on innocent citizens. He had also submitted that his family suffered financial loss at the time of his daughter's death, especially in terms of communication and other funeral expenses. Meanwhile, in recent development, the state also agreed to compensate Transport and Logistics Minister Frank Tayali with 450,000 kwacha for the trauma he experienced after police officers wrongly assaulted him while he escorted President Hakainde Hichilema at Force headquarters in 2020. This is in a matter in which the cabinet minister has sued the state in the LUSAKA High Court and cited the Attorney General as the respondent. He had contended that he was physically assaulted by an overzealous police officer who pointed an AK-47 rifle at his head when he accompanied President Hakainde Hichilema as UPND president then for questioning. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Lusaka High Court has granted 5 accused charged with espionage in connection with the Kenneth Kaunda Gold scandal bail pending trial. This is in a matter in which businessman Shadrack Kasanda is jointly charged with Hogan Airlines Chief Executive Officer Jim Belemu, Commercial Pilot Patrick Kawanu, Francis Mateo, State Security Officer, and Robson Monga, a police officer, are facing a charge of espionage in relation to the Faith God scam and a sum of 5.7 million United States dollars. The court has also granted the accused with a 5,000 kwacha bail each in their own recognizance with 2 working sureties. Allegations are that the accused on the 13th of August 2023 at Kenneth Kaunda Airport, whilst acting together, entered the said protective place for purposes that there were prejudices to the safety and interest of the public of Zambia, while Kasanda has been slapped with another charge of fraudulent dealing with metals or minerals. Still in court news, the Lusaka High Court has set February 1st, 2024 as the date in which former Mungu High Court Judge Wilfred Muma is expected to appear for his possible plea and commencement of trial. When the matter came up Tuesday morning, the recently fired judge asked for an adjournment on grounds that his late defense counsel needed to be present when he took his plea. The accused was granted the application by the court, who adjourned the case to next year. In this case, the former judge is facing a charge of willful failure to comply with the law and applicable procedure. According to the court record, Muma is alleged to have between the 1st of April and 31st of December 2018, when he served as Commissioner of Land, instructed his subordinates to cancel a certificate of title for a public property number LN 8426/1 in Lusaka. The action was contrary to Section 84, Clause F of the Lands and Deeds Registry Act of the Laws of Zambia. In other news, government says it is awaiting guidance from legal experts on whether former President Edgar Lungu was receiving his retirement benefits during the period he had retired from active politics. Information and Media Minister Cornelius Mwetwa says government, in as much as there is written evidence that he had retired, statements from Patriotic Front officials that the former president did not retire needs attention. Meanwhile, Mr. Mwetwa, who is also chief government spokesperson, has clarified that there is no legal requirement for the president to declare his assets and liabilities annually, as desired by U.S. Ambassador to Zambia, Michael Gonzalez. Last week, U.S. Ambassador to Zambia, Michael Gonzalez, said President Hakainde Hichilema and Vice President Mutalina Lumango must declare their assets annually until their term in office expires, so that they set an example for all other public servants to emulate. Details in the following report.
After losing the presidency to Hakainde Hichilema in 2021, former President Edgar Lungu announced his retirement from active politics. However, during his stay in retirement, Patriotic Front officials like Party Secretary General Rafana Kachinda said the former president was only on leave.
In 2021, we had a decision expressed by the former president wanting to resign from his position as party president, which was rejected by Central Committee at that particular time. And then he was asked to go on leave, which is already in public domain, that he announced willingness to come back to active politics.
On 28th September 2023, former President Edgar Lungu announced his return to active politics after benefiting from taxpayers' resources as provided for in the Benefits of Former Presidents Act of 1993. Government says it has taken interest in the matter and is awaiting guidance from legal experts on whether the former President Lungu got the benefits by false pretenses.
What the government of the Republic of Zambia has done is to wait for legal experts to study the circumstances of the law and its subsequent ramifications, where, as by law required in terms of Cap 15, the former President's Benefits Act, that for one to access those benefits, such a one must retire from active politics. So here is an example of a former president who wrote that he had retired and only returned to politics. He says his people say he never retired.
Meanwhile, the minister clarified that there is no legal requirement for the president to declare his assets and liabilities annually as desired by U.S. Ambassador to Zambia, Michael Gonzales. Addressing the media in Lusaka, Chief Government Spokesperson Cornelius Mwetoa acknowledged the sentiments expressed by the U.S. Ambassador and the cooperating partners, but says such declarations would contravene the Zambian constitution unless there is legal intervention.
Whereas it would be nice for His Excellency President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, to declare annually his assets and liabilities presently in Zambia, according to our statutes and our law. There is no law which requires the President to declare his assets and or liabilities annually. The position of the law that this declaration is made to the Electoral Commission or returning officer, if you like. And there is no requirement that such declaration be made public.
Last week, United States Ambassador to Zambia Michael Gonzales urged President Hakainde Hichilema and Vice President Mutalina Lumango to annually declare their assets throughout their term to set an example for other public servants. Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
Economist Kelvin Chisanga says government's failure to revert to quarterly reviews of fuel pump prices is hurting the economy. Mr. Chisanga says government needs to find a more stable period of reviewing fuel pump prices going into 2024, saying the commodity is crucial in stimulating the economic growth. Meanwhile, energy expert Boniface Zulu has advised government to consider investing in strategic reserves so that to secure fuel for a long period of time, saying the monthly review of fuel pump prices has proved to be negatively impacting the economy.
In January 2022, the Energy Regulation Board (DRB) implemented the monthly review of fuel pump pricing index in Zambia. Since then, the country has witnessed frequent fluctuations in fuel prices, creating uncertainty and made it challenging for businesses to plan and project their cash flows. Economist Kelvin Chisanga says government should find a more stable period of reviewing fuel pump prices going into 2024, saying the commodity is crucial in stimulating economic growth.
Government should be able to come back to that sense which we used to use, a model where we can have 3 months procurement cycle. And I'm sure if you look at the model that used to work out for us, it used to also go as far as 6 months. Sometimes we'll plan fuel in 6 months' time. So fuel being a basic factor of production, it requires of us to look at it as a critical component of production. I think it's high time, as even we go into the next year's budget, we need to look at this as a critical component, which should be able to give us substantial base in terms of sustainable supply or even security.
Meanwhile, energy expert Boniface Zulu has advised government to consider investing in strategic reserves so that the country is fuel secure for a longer period of time.
The government should consider tax breaks on petroleum products to allow or reduce the current pricing of fuel, and this will alleviate the pain that ordinary Zambians are currently faced with when it comes to the pump prices, as well as government can come up with a strategy or can come up with reservoirs where we can be storing fuel, and these reservoirs can act as a buffer against fluctuating international oil prices as well as the kwacha to dollar rate, which is never stable at the end of the day. So if we have a buffer reserve capacity that can shield the people of Zambia, it will help.
Currently, a litre of petrol is buying at 29 kwacha 98 ngwe, while diesel is buying at 29 kwacha 96 ngwe per litre. Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
You're watching the main news on Camnet TV. We take our first set of commercials to join me with more news after the break.
Potatoes, the unsung heroes of flavor. From crispy chips to creamy mash, potatoes are the versatile superstars of your kitchen. Grown with love by our dedicated workforce drawn from around the community of Palavana. Savenda Farm's commitment is to see to it that we have potatoes that are grown right, healthy, big and tasty. For that quick fix or big celebration or that meal that brings family together, top chefs rely on the Savenda potato to create culinary masterpieces. And for others, it's that icebreaker to a delightful conversation. So, embrace the magic of Savenda potatoes. They're not just a side dish, they're the heart and soul of your kitchen. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
Introducing Darren B, a touch of class. Are you looking for the perfect place to elevate your style and glam up? Look no further. Darren B Touch of Class is your one-stop destination for hair and makeup transformation. Walk into Darren B and walk out feeling like a star. Your transformation starts here. Call us on 0772 870 588 or WhatsApp on 0972 049 213 to book your appointment today. Payments are made via mobile money or point-of-sale machine. Strictly no cash payments. We are located along Mossy Road in Ibex Hill, fourth close on the left after Kalikiliki Police Post. At Darren B, we pride ourselves on our team of dedicated and trained personnel ready to pamper both women and children. Darren B is open 7 days a week from 0720 hours to 1740 hours. From trendy hairstyles and stylish makeovers to flawless makeup, we do it all. Darren B, a touch of class.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We now continue with more news. The Zambia Revenue Authority, ZRA, has reminded members of the public that the law provides for various tax incentives for persons with disabilities in Zambia. ZRA Corporate Affairs Manager Oliver Nzala says the tax incentives apply to employers of persons with disabilities as well as the individuals themselves. Mr. Nzala explains that under the Income Tax Act, an employer who employs a person with a disability is entitled to an allowance of 2,000 kwacha for each person with a disability who has been employed on full-time basis. He adds that the Act also allows for persons, individuals or organizations that engage in public benefit activities to apply for Public Benefit Organization PBO status, which will allow them to enjoy privileges such as 15% reduction in income tax when deemed fit. We now move to Mongu, where a Zambian network of people living with HIV and AIDS Eastern Province Chapter Coordinator Namakao Mukotoi has called on government and communities to look into the issues affecting adolescents in reproductive health and HIV. Mr. Namakau says the aim of the training is to empower the young people and adolescents with information on HIV prevention, care and support, as well as sexual reproductive health services. And adolescents focal point and trainers at Yellow Health Center, Evelyn Malambo, has urged community to let adolescents attend meetings at health centers to reduce teenage pregnancies. We have the details in this report.
And high numbers of HIV and early teenage pregnancies among the adolescents in Mungu and Naroro district in Western Province. Network of people living with HIV and AIDS, Western Province chapter, with support from Action Aid Zambia, is implementing a project aimed at strengthening social accountability, monitoring and oversight to support boys and girls' demand for improved services on their rights and well-being. And speaking after the training, Zambia Network of People Living with HIV and AIDS coordinator Namakau Mketoe explained the importance of the training.
We are having a training for HIV and sexual reproductive health. We want to empower the young people and the adolescents with the information on HIV prevention, care and support, as well as the sexual reproductive health services. So our aim is to see improve the service delivery both in health and in agriculture. So as the network of Zambian people living with HIV Mongu district chapter, we are having this project in Mongu district as well as in Nalolo district, because we know that for sustainability of this project, we need to empower these groups with information, because when the project comes to an end, these people will remain in their communities. They will be able to monitor the development that is in their wards or in their communities.
And Evelyn Malambo is adolescent focal point and a trainer at the Rural Health Center, is appealing to community members to let their children attend meetings at health centers to reduce teenage pregnancies.
Western Province itself, we do not have a lot of social amenities. Most of these adolescents, they indulge themselves into sexual activities. Appeal to the community to let these children or adolescents attend adolescent meetings in these our facilities. Under Mongu district, we have almost all the facilities that we have trained nurses and also peer educators so that they can help and reach out to our fellow adolescents so that the knowledge is shared and also reduce the chances of having adolescents having teen pregnancies and also early detection of HIV.
Meanwhile, Joyce LUNGU and Mushavati Mushukrumbe have expressed their concerns.
The root cause of drug abuse, we might say that we lack recreation centers. As in Mongo, we don't have any recreation center here in Mongo. Yeah, so if we can have a recreation center, it can help.
Appealing to the local authorities and other relevant authorities within Mongo, and that we must seriously regulate these beer drinking places. These are the common grounds for influencing these our young people to indulge in these illicit activities.
For Camnet News, Museboka we are reporting in Mungu, Western Province.
A senior government official in the Ministry of Agriculture in Central Province has called on officers to closely monitor the weather forecast and constantly provide tailored advice to farmers. Central Province Agriculture Officer Jen Monga says farmers need to be updated on the prevailing weather forecast in a view to make informed decisions before planting. Mrs. Monga added that weather data gathered in real time remains key in predicting the upcoming climatic conditions and, most importantly, translate information into actionable insights for the farmers. Mrs. Monga was speaking during the annual evaluation workshop for the expansion of community-based smallholder irrigation development project in Serenje and Kapirimposhi.
Climate change presents a formidable challenge to our agricultural endeavors.
Increasingly erratic weather patterns, including droughts, floods, and unexpected temperature fluctuations, pose significant risks to crop cultivation. However, armed with accurate and up-to-date weather forecasts, our farmers can adjust their planting schedules, irrigation routines, and pest control strategies in a timely manner. It is for this reason that Central Province Agricultural Officer Jenny Monga calls for officers in the Ministry of Agriculture to closely monitor weather forecasts and further sensitize farmers.
I've seen the erratic weather patterns that we have. Because of climate change, the weather is not the same. When we look at the previous years, you know, we talk about, sometimes we will say we've had a lot of rains, but then the distribution of the rains is not even. In some areas, you know, there's very poor rainfall distribution. So where we can make a difference with irrigation, let's ensure that we do that. If you follow the weather forecast, and I've observed that, you know, it's being sent on our platforms, I would urge you to pay attention to those weather forecasts, you know, because they're going to help you to plan your agricultural activities.
Meanwhile, Central Province ECOPS Project Coordinator, Engineer Chelo Senkwe, says the activities carried out under the project are aimed at increasing production and profitability.
ECOPS aims to increase the area under irrigation for the small-scale farmers through the introduction of simple weir. The simple weirs are constructed with the aim of raising the water to a level where the water is able to flow naturally in a furrow through to the farmers' gardens. We are introducing the use of weirs because we want the farmers to increase in their production. At the end of the day, when they have increased production, it means their income is going to be increased.
The project team leader from Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, says he is happy with the progress so far.
So far, for 5 years, we got the great achievement. For example, in terms of irrigation development area, more than 500 hectares in Copperbelt, Northwestern, and here, Central Province. And also, the farmers' income has increased 70%, I mean 170% compared to previous time. This is a great achievement by ECOPS project. With this achievement, I'm very happy.
Helen Witte reporting from Kapiri, Central Zambia.
The Ministry of Energy has called for concerted efforts in constructing educational facilities that empower the young generation. Speaking during the commissioning of Chasunta Secondary School Tuesday in Chikankata District, Ministry of Energy Permanent Secretary Peter Mumba says investing in young people is key for the country's economic and social growth. And Education Minister Douglas Yakalima commended ZESCO for the initiative as it aims to alleviate overcrowding in schools. Meanwhile, ZESCO Managing Director Victor Mapani has urged the locals to safeguard the infrastructure.
Access to quality and equal education is one of government's priorities in fostering development, as enshrined in the 8th National Development Plan, United Nations Sustainable Goal Number 4 on education, among others. With the reintroduction of free education, enrollment numbers have increased in various parts of the country in order to cushion the challenge of overcrowding. Among others, government has commissioned Chasunta Secondary School in Chikankata District at Kafue Gorge Lower, which has been spearheaded by ZESCO and Kafue Gorge Lower Corporation, with a call for continued efforts which safeguard the younger generation.
And the children in this community surrounding areas sit in these nice classrooms. Undoubtedly, the establishment of this school will reduce the number of children without education in our country. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assunta Secondary School shall help in expanding education opportunities and it will enable learners to have access to better opportunities, thereby contributing to the reduction of poverty.
Minister of Education Douglas Yakalima, who officiated as guest of honor, explains that the school, which has 500 pupils boarding capacity, is a state-of-art infrastructure which will help reduce overcrowding in schools.
But the school is able to accommodate 500 learners in boarding. This school will serve to mitigate the problem of overcrowding in our schools. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in 2022, government introduced the Education for All policy, currently being referred as to free education, that has resulted in the over-enrollment, shortage of classroom space, and high teacher-pupil ratio. In response, government embarked on an unprecedented recruitment of 30,496 teachers and creating more classroom space.
And ZESCO Managing Director, Engineer Victor Mapani, urged the locals and pupils who will be enrolled next year in February to guard the school jealously.
For it to attain this, it requires an educated workforce. And it is for this reason that ZESCO considers education as an essential investment. It is hoped that ZESCO's contribution to the education sector will impact society in a manner that the entire nation will benefit and that the community will maintain the facility. At this point, I urge you all to safeguard this infrastructure, jealously bearing in mind that it is primarily your own asset, it belongs to you. The conduit for the training of our future leaders.
Meanwhile, Southern Province Minister Credo Nanjua appealed to government to construct a school in a similar fashion in Kazungula district.
So, Honorable Minister, as we rejoice here, I wish also to pass one message to you, that as we are rejoicing in Tikakata, I still wish you to be in Kazungula district for Kazungula Secondary School, where our school needs your attention together with us.
Whoa! Now, Honorable, I think we will request that.
Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Rikankata.
We now take our final and last commercials, and we'll be back with the rest of the news after the break.
Introducing Darren B, a touch of class. Are you looking for the perfect place to elevate your style and glam up? Look no further. Darren B Touch of Class is your one-stop destination for hair and makeup transformation. Walk into Darren B and walk out feeling like a star. Your transformation starts here. Call us on 0772 870 588 or WhatsApp on 0972 049 213 to book your appointment today. Payments are made via mobile money or point-of-sale machine. Strictly no cash payments. We are located along Mossy Road in Ibex Hill, 4th close on the left after Kalikiliki Police Post. At Darren B, we pride ourselves on our team of dedicated and trained personnel ready to pamper both women and children. Darren B is open 7 days a week from 0720 hours to 1740 hours. From trendy hairstyles and stylish makeovers to flawless makeup, we do it all. Darren B, a touch of class.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Thank you so much for still staying with us. And now in foreign news, the International Criminal Court Deputy Chief Prosecutor announced on Monday, 27th November 2023, that she was dropping off further investigations into crimes committed in Kenya relating to violence that erupted following the elections in 2007. The 2007-2008 post-election violence inflicted a devastating toll, claiming over 1,200 lives and leaving an estimated 600,000 homeless. In 2010, the Hague-based tribunal started probing the violence. Initially, 6 suspects faced charges of crimes against humanity, including murder and deportation. The suspects included current Kenyan President William Ruto and his predecessor Uhuru Kenyatta.
The International Criminal Court Deputy Chief Prosecutor announced on Monday that her office would drop all further investigations into crimes committed in Kenya relating to violence that erupted following elections in 2007. The post-election violence claimed over 1,200 lives and displaced thousands from their homes. In 2010, the Hague-based tribunal started probing the violence. The office's investigations led to charges against 6 suspects in 2 separate cases. Some faced charges of crimes against humanity, including murder and deportation. Those included current President William Ruto and his predecessor Uhuru Kenyatta. The charges against Kenyatta were withdrawn in 2014, and in 2016 the case against Ruto was stopped too after judges said the prosecution's evidence was too weak. Other suspects were charged with offences against the administration of justice, consisting in corruptly or attempting to corruptly influencing ICC witnesses. 2 suspects in this case are still at large and face charges before the court.
Outside a family home in occupied East Jerusalem, hugs and tears, jubilation and sadness. But after 8 years in jail, 24-year-old Shuruq Duwayat has a hard time accepting she's free.
Even now, I can't believe it, that I'm walking in the street without guards, that at night I can see the moon and the sky in one uninterrupted view, because in prison you can't.
In 2015, Shuruq was convicted of stabbing one Israeli man. He was sentenced to 16 years in prison. In the past, her family told Israeli media outlets that Shuruq was acting in self-defense after a man tried to pull off her headscarf. On Saturday, everything changed. That's when Shuruq was released from an Israeli jail as one of at least 150 Palestinian prisoners Israel agreed to set free as part of a ceasefire deal with Hamas. But along with her newfound liberty came strict conditions.
First, we're not allowed to engage in any display of celebrations. Second, we're not allowed to participate in any kind of political activity. Third, I'm not allowed to voice any opinion on social media.
And does that make you feel pressure right now?
It's true that I came back home and that I got my freedom, but I'm still restricted.
Yeah. And how does your family feel about that? Are they even more worried now because of that?
They're very worried about this. There's a lot of fear.
The pressure remains, but today Shuruq and her mother try to feel a bit of enjoyment. In another part of occupied East Jerusalem, Jad Hamad waits and worries. On Saturday, he was told his family would be reunited with his 16-year-old daughter, Nufud, who at the age of 14 was accused of attempting to stab a settler. Nufud was sentenced to 12 years in prison. The family denies the accusations. Jad went to the detention facility where he believed he'd be picking up Nufud, waited for hours, and was then ordered to leave, alone.
One thing I can say is that I'm burning from the inside. This is my girl, my daughter. I don't know where she is, if she's eating, if she's drinking, if she's cold, or even if she's sick.
As Palestinians, Jad and his family are accustomed to anxiety and dread in equal measure. But this is far worse. Days that were meant to be happy turned even sadder. Hours after speaking to Jad, we learned Nufud had been released. But what should have been a joyous occasion for the family turned into a frightening evening as Israeli police raided their home multiple times, kicking out journalists, barring any celebrations, and reminding an already worried family that their collective sigh of relief won't be happening anytime soon. Mohammed Jamjoum, Al Jazeera, occupied East Jerusalem.
And now, in sports news, Copper Queens forward Rachel Nachula says the match to be played against Angola on 5th December 2023 in the Women's Africa Cup of Nations qualifier WAFCON will not be easy, but that her team has confidence that it will finish the game with a win. Nachula says the next game that will be played after the 5th of December would only be to raise more points as the team would have already qualified. The Copper Queens forward says she is happy to rejoin the team after the experience at the World Cup. She says the country should continue supporting the team and has assured that they will deliver for the people of Zambia.
Well, first and foremost, I would like to say thank you for the call-up and to represent the country at large. It's very important, more especially that we are playing away as first leg, so it's very important for us. We need to win the game so that when we are back home, we just have to finalize the game and play to our level best. Well, to be very good. This time around, I think our aim and our target as a team is to win the WAFCON, because last time we didn't win, but we came up on a good position. But this time around, our target is to go and grab the trophy. It is very important for us. Looking at the team that went for COSAFA, I'm really proud of them, and I would say I was so pressured to see how the girls were playing, because it gave me the mind of start thinking of how am I going to fit in the team. So it's not easy coming back to the team, but even as professionals, we need to gear up and pull up our stockings, because everyone is pushing hard to be in the team. And looking at the experience that we had in Morocco, it was very good. We played 2 games against Morocco, and we managed to win the all games, which gave us an insight to say we are moving at the right direction. So it's very important that the combination of professional footballers and the local players, it's really motivating the young girls there. They are really doing well. Well, it's very important to those who are looking up to us. We are happy for them, and our encouragement is that they should continue working hard as they're coming up to play along with us. So we keep on encouraging them and sure that we give them a good discipline, and we have to lead by example.
You have made the top 10 of the best players in Africa. How does that make you feel?
Well, it feels good. It can only be good, and I just hope the fans keep on supporting me, and I will surely do my level best for our mother Zambia.
How far is it from the hotel?
I think for me, I'm very happy to be back in the team after the World Cup and so on. I'm very happy that I'm back. And then the Angola game, it will be hard, but we hope and pray that we can finish the game from here, and we have confidence that we can finish the game from here. And yeah, it is very important to play our game, like to play in their own home ground, whereby we can beat them from here, and then when we go home, we'll be just finalizing the game. It feels very good to play for the nation always, and then I'm very happy, and being a proud Zambian, I'm very happy to play again for the national team. They should just continue supporting us. We're going to deliver for them and for the nation at large.
That's it for our main news tonight, but before I go, here are the top stories that are making headlines. Traders displaced by UPND cadres in Lusaka demand government's intervention. State to compensate slain UPND supporter MAPENZI CHIBULO'S family 3.5 million kwacha. Government still consulting legal experts on prosecuting former President EDGAR LUNGU. In international news, ICC concludes investigation into deadly post-election violence in Kenya. And in sports news, Copper Queens ready to face Angola in the WAFCON qualifier match next month. Our Camnet verse of the day is coming from the book of John 3, verse 17. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but to save the world through him. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Sylvia Zulu. Good night and God bless you.